Good afternoon. We're so happy to be back here today. Hi, my name is Marquelle Chapman, and I'm here with a very special guest today. This is
Zoe.
Yes, Zoe Victoria Chapman, and she's a very, very, very special guest today on the show. And why is she so special? Why are you so special, Zoe?
Um, I don't
Well,
know.
because she's my daughter. And we're glad to be here today. A month ago, I was on the Light Channel and so thankful to be here to discuss parenting. And we had, I would say, a very wonderful time together just talking about the purpose of parenthood and the even the challenges parents face. Uh, our daughter is 17 years old. We also have a 23-year-old son who just turned 23 yesterday. So we're celebrating his birthday as well. And although my husband and I have been parents for 23 years, it doesn't mean that we're experts in parenting. Would you say that we're experts, Zoe?
Close.
Close,
But
but
not, yeah, not experts, but close.
wonderful. So we're learning. This is a learning journey for each of us. And we need tools, we need prayer, we need humility, patience. All of these things are needed in order to be the kind of parent God has called us to be in this day and age. So um, today, we thought it would be very nice if we came together as mother and daughter and talked about the special bond that mothers and daughters have with each other. And sometimes that bond is hard to get, especially as we get older. Sometimes we complain about uh, as kids get older, it becomes harder to relate to them. But guess what? As parents get older, parents go through different things too. And we go through changes in our lives. And it becomes harder for even uh, kids to relate to their parents. So it can go both ways, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to talk about some of our questions and find some answers in my favorite Spirit of Prophecy book. My favorite book happens to be The Adventist Home. I love this book. I have used this even before my husband and I had our first child. It's just been a reference point for us as we know and learn how to be a husband, how to be a wife, even how we are to be sons and daughters for our parents. And then when we had our own kids, it helped us figure out lots of challenges with being parents as well. So, Zoe,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can start with a few questions. I think she has some questions for us, and we'll see what answers we can come up with.
Okay. So the very first question I had for you was, do you think it is valid, meaning do you support the idea of mothers setting certain expectations for their daughters, such as people they choose to date, career choice, or hobbies? So do you
Mm,
support that idea?
do I support it?
Mm-hmm.
Should parents be involved in choosing the career, choosing the spouse, maybe even the friends? Would you say?
Yeah.
Even friends? Okay. Should we be involved in those uh, in those avenues of life for our children? And I would first like to go to the Adventist home, and we're going to uh, answer that question. And we are in the chapter called Family Companionship, page 192. And would you like to read, Zoe? You can read this one. Counsel to uh, reserved and dictatorial parents.
And just end right there?
Yes.
Okay. So it says there is danger of both parents and teachers commanding and dictating too much while they fail to come sufficiently into social relation with their children or scholars.
Mm.
They often hold themselves too much reserved and exercise their authority in a cold, unsympathizing manner, which cannot win the hearts of their children and pupils. If they would gather the children close to them and show that they love them and would manifest an interest in all their efforts and even in their sports, sometimes even being a child among children, they would make the children very happy and would gain their love and win confidence. And the children would sooner respect and love the authority of their parents and teachers.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, why is that interesting to you?
I mean, I'm just thinking from what my friends usually say about their parents. Popular complaint I always hear is their parents don't understand them or they don't support things that they like to do. They're just constantly doing things to make their to like receive the approval of their parents, but it doesn't really make them happy and it just like bruises the relationship they have with their parents.
Oh, I like the term that you use there. Bruises the relationship.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. That hurts the relationship. When we think about a bruise, we can think about something that feels attacked, right? Many times, uh, if that confidence isn't there, if that companionship isn't there, and a parent tries to um, uh, insert themselves as a dictator in the relationship, it can make that child feel attacked. It can make that child feel as though they have been bruised by the parent. And I really like the way Ellen White gives instruction, and she gives encouragement that parents are to win the affections of their children. Sometimes parents have to become a child again with their kids when they're when they're young, when the kids are really young, so that the children can see their parents in a non-dictatorial position. Gaining the confidence of the child is very important because once we do that, we are able to gain their attention. They want to know what we think. They want to know how we feel. Um, you also asked a question about choosing friends.
Mhm.
Okay. We have a picture that we'd like to share, and it's a photo of friends, and these are some of Zoe's friends that have been in her life for how long?
I've known one since I was like before I was born, well, since I was a baby, and then another one I think when I was 6, I first met her.
Okay, okay, and there's a photo, and it's coming up soon, where we're all standing, and it was a beautiful day after church service, and we have a picture of two mothers, and I'm one mom, and on the other end is the other mother, and then we have the girls that we share between us. These are all of our girls. So we call ours, these are my daughter's friends, and we are all aunts and nieces. And there's such a wonderful bond here. And I would not say that I actively or that I chose the friendship of Zoe and her friends, but I would say that God created an environment for the friendship, and that environment came from being active in church. Um, the environment was also nurtured by the relationship that I have with the other mother. She's one of my best friends, and her name is Mshiki. And although she's Kenyan and came from another country, when she came to the United States, we bonded because we had a spiritual bond together. And so it's a spiritual friendship that started with us before our girls were even born. And from that, once we started having our own kids, then the bond that was already established, that the Holy Spirit already put together, transferred to the next generation. Um, these girls also um, are in ministry together. Can you describe your ministry?
Oh, okay. So we have like a little singing group. It's called Sacred Praise, and sometimes we go around to different churches and we'll sing. So yeah, it's just a small group of us that sing and do special music. So
And we have a small clip of their singing, one of their singing engagements at a local church, and our son Miles played the piano. He loves to join in with them and accompany the group. And he's playing the piano, and they are singing. So if we could.
the audio may not be the best, but
Oh, wonderful. So, um, I think it's very important for parents to be at the right place and the right time when it comes to helping their kids form good and solid relationships. There's a time where your child will have uh, a stronger relationship, and they will listen more to their friends than they will their parents. So you really want to trust and have comfort in knowing that they are around good people. So should a parent uh, be involved in who their child is forming these bonds with? I would say yes. A parent has that responsibility. And there's another uh, counsel that's given. And it says here, this is also under family companionship, page 193 in Adventist Home, where it says parents to be acquainted with their children. No barrier of coldness and reserve should be allowed to arise between parents and children. Let parents become acquainted with their children, seeking to understand their tastes and dispositions, entering into their feelings and drawing out what is in their hearts. Parents, let your children see that you love them and will do all in your power to make them happy. If you do so, your necessary restrictions will have far greater weight in their young minds. Rule your children with tenderness and compassion, remembering that their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. If you desire the angels to do for your children the work given them of God, cooperate with them by doing your part. Wow.
Wow.
That's very strong. What do you think about that, Zoe?
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
Yes. Why is it interesting to you?
I mean, yeah, like just the angels always, yeah, watching over, like really advocating for that person. Yeah.
Yes. This lets us know that as parents, we have an awesome responsibility to raise our children and to treat them the way God wants them to be treated. And our kids have their own angels who are covering them, watching out for them, and everything. These angels are also paying attention to what we do. They are paying attention to what we do. They are paying attention to how much we pay attention to our own kids. And there's a report going back to heaven.
Yeah.
There's a report going back to heaven. Now, were you surprised to read this from Ellen White, a woman who lived in the 1800s? Were you surprised to read this?
Well, I mean, I guess so, yeah.
What would you think that someone would write from back then? What were you expecting?
True. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, because I guess in that time period, people were more conservative and like they weren't really trying to advocate from the point of view of a child
Mm,
and cater to their needs. They're more, I'm the adult in the situation, therefore you do everything I say. So,
okay. So a dictator.
mhm,
Yeah, that sounds like a dictator.
mhm,
So it's interesting that she is counseling parents to not have that approach because parents have to realize Christianity has to be as attractive as possible.
mhm.
And we have to attract our children to God. And anyway, is God treating us that way? Is he being a dictator? What do you think?
No.
No, he's not being a dictator. He's not making us serve him. He's not making us um, uh, choose him. It's a choice. And he's wooing us with gentleness all the time. And we as parents have to do the same.
Mhm.
Okay. You have another question.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And this next question kind of piggyback off of the other one a little bit.
Okay.
But what is your advice for mothers and just parents in general who ultimately live vicariously through their daughters or
Oh,
children?
yes. Okay. Um, can we find that? Do we see that where a parent will say, "Oh, I hate that I didn't get a chance to be um, uh, I hate that I didn't get a chance to become an Olympic star. I always wanted to go to the Olympics and be a tennis star or something, or a figure skater." So since they weren't able to do it, they pour it all into their kids.
Or if they
Mhm.
grew up poor and they're really wanting their kid to like study really hard in school so they can make it big and get rich, yeah.
That's right. Yes. Oh, I wasn't able to become a lawyer, so I'm going to push my kid. And I wasn't able to become a doctor, so I'm going to push that on my child. Sometimes those parents who live vicariously through their children will push their kids a certain way, but how does that make the child feel? How do you think?
Controlled, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. They can feel controlled. They can also feel as though my parent doesn't care about me, but my parent cares more about the title that I could have or the position that I could have. And maybe the child will feel as though that's what my parent wants from me more than anything.
Mhm.
Hmm. So that kind of goes back to what we were just reading too here. Um, it's very important for parents to study their children. We need to study our kids. We need to be paying attention when they're very young. See how they play. Well, if you're playing with your children, you can see what their interests are. Zoe, what was one of your early or some of your early interests?
Well, I've always been kind of a creative, artistic person. I like to work with my hands. Let me see here. Whenever I was like 4 years old, I was into like abstract painting. So yeah, just literally just dumping paint onto a page. But then later, I got more sophisticated with my artwork and stuff like that. So yeah, and I feel like it has been something that's supported, and it's something that could like feed into other important things as well.
Yes. So when my husband and I noticed how she worked with her hands and how she liked to be creative, we started, and we were also homeschooling. We were able to put her in programs, artistic programs, to build that skill. But practically speaking, we know that she needs to have uh, the type of employment that will be that will be a ministry as well, that will be of service to people around her. Um, she would need a profession that would work hand in hand with what God wants us to do as Christians. So we saw this creativity, we saw the hands working together. There was another thing that Zoe also enjoyed, and that was going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Why did you like going to the dentist?
I guess since I've never had a cavity, that's probably the thing. I guess I was proud to just never have a cavity.
17 years old, never had a cavity. And she just went to the dentist, I think 2 weeks ago, still no
Still no
cavities.
cavities.
So I put two and two together. I was like, this is something. I think we're going in a good direction here. Looking at healthcare and looking at the creativity. The next thing that happened in Zoe's life was that she would go to the dental school with her dad.
Oh yeah.
And her dad had quite a bit of dental work that needed done. And he would take her and he would introduce her to the professors. He would take her around, and there was like
A library.
a library. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, I was probably like 5 years old. But yeah, there's this library that was in the dental school, and you would like, yeah, we would have the books, and then he would like be pointing to different pictures and teaching me. He's like, this is the maxillofacial or stuff like that. And then yeah, just telling me different terms and like definitions of different things, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so and also they'd sign me up for clubs and stuff like that at the museums that were more hands-on and stuff like that and kind of gave you that like health, experience.
Yes, we were enjoying ourselves. Zoe was learning, we were learning at the same time, and we were enjoying the ride. And we saw an interest that developed in her. And as parents, we introduced ideas. You could go into dentistry. Years later, she and Miles needed to have orthodontic work done. So they both had braces. And Zoe really thought, what?
Okay, so I hated having braces. I despised it and I like protest against it, and I still feel like that was a painful experience. But as they were putting the braces on my teeth, like there was this little like mirror I could look into, and I was kind of like fascinated by how like the process of them putting, the braces, like gluing the wires, and then how they like weaved it together. I was like, hey, that kind of looks like what I like to do. Like I like to make these bracelets. They're kind of like woven a little bit. It's like this one, but they're friendship bracelets. But I'm really into like that weaving sort of thing. So then I was like, I would ask them questions about it and like their processes, and I was like, that's interesting. I would really like to go into doing that.
Yes. So it worked out. It's as though the Holy Spirit was putting us on a track from the early artwork that Zoe was involved in to the point of being introduced to a career, a viable career that she could go into. And so Zoe will be entering college next year, and she will be on track to.
Major in biomedical engineering, but, on the road to becoming an orthodontist.
Yes, wonderful. But had we not been paying attention as parents, had we not been becoming acquainted with her tastes and dispositions and entering into her feelings also, we would have missed out on this.
True. And another point is, okay, I remember when I was really, really little or something, I know my dad wanted me to be a surgeon of some sort. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do that. Personally, I just don't trust myself being that sophisticated in doing the surgery. And I was like, it might be a little too intense for me. Like, I can work with, like, the mouth. Like, I can do that. But I mean, like, being a whole surgeon, like, kind of scared me a little bit. So I'm glad they, like, still respected where I wanted to go and that I still wanted to do something kind of in that field. But yeah, I'm glad that they're supportive of, where I wanted to go.
Yes. And that leads us to a couple of more pictures here. Um, uh, Zoe had a very bad accident last year, and she was skateboarding at some friends. We were all together. That's another key point in friendship. It's great when parents are friends and the kid and their kids are friends with each other. It's a big family of friendship, and I love that. So we were together, and we're at a friend's house. Zoe had her skateboard, and she fell off
Yeah.
the skateboard. And where did she land?
On my chin. But don't worry, it's pretty much real.
Yes,
Tell.
yes, she landed there, and we have some pictures of that.
Gore warning.
Oh yeah, warning, warning. Yes, she fell on the chin, and it looks as though she had. It looks as though there was a gunshot wound or something right there, or a BB shot or whatever. But
It looks worse than how it felt.
yes,
Yeah.
she fell there, and the skin burst. It burst right there, and then we bandaged her up. We had such wonderful friends. One's a nurse, and the other is a physical therapist. They came to her aid, and they bandaged her face so that we could. And I think we have a picture of her face being bandaged. And we were able to make it to the hospital. So there Zoe is, all bandaged up, and we made it to the hospital. We were at the uh, emergency room, and from there, she received stitches. That was it could have been very traumatic. And I will have to say that we turned that into a learning experience. We turned that into um, an opportunity for her to understand more about health, learn more about sciences, learn more about compassion, even compassion therapy during that procedure. So she received the stitches, and during the whole process, I think there's a couple of other pictures of how I was able to share in that experience with her. How do you feel in your memory of that experience together?
I definitely felt, oh yeah, I was really thankful to my mom for being there like the whole way through. It can, feel more traumatic if you're going through it all alone and not having anybody who really cares. And I was like, I honestly, whenever I did that, I just felt like I was so dumb. I was like, oh, why did I do that? And stuff. I was like, oh man, they're gonna be mad at me for like doing this because like I don't know, whenever I was skateboarding, I was just a little careless. I didn't like notice the driveway or test it before going down. But it felt nice to have that support.
Yes, and I wanted to give her the support that she needed, and we held hands uh, during the process. Zoe never shed one tear. She never shared one tear. But I believe that the comfort that I wanted to give her was felt. Did you feel that? Or, yeah.
Yeah.
And so as she was getting the stitches, I held her hand and I hugged her and kissed her. But because she was so strong through it all, even I didn't cry. I felt comforted because she was.
I was just like, I don't know. I was kind of still chilling though, because, yeah, it just looks more painful than how it felt.
Mm.
As long as I didn't see any pictures of what it looked like, I was good.
Well, you helped me out a lot. And I appreciate your strength because I drew from your strength through that. Yes. So I think we have another question. You have another one? This is the last question.
Okay. So, do you think mothers or parents should be able to tell their daughters important secrets and strictly keep it from anyone else, such as her father, friends, or other siblings?
So do you think a daughter should tell a mother secret?
No. The mother.
Oh, the mother. Should a mother tell the daughter secrets?
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I get it. Let's say you have a mom come to the child and say, okay, I have a secret, but I don't want you to tell your father.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? Interesting. Ah, okay, well, I have a question. What if a mother is telling a secret to a daughter, and this is a teenage daughter, or maybe the daughter is a young adult? What if the secret is kind of uncomfortable? What do you think? Kind of an uncomfortable secret, and maybe it could be the type of secret that could make the husband or the father angry.
Yeah.
How do you think that? What position do you think that child is being put in?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm asking you, what
asking me.
position? What position do you think that child is being put in?
Definitely an uncomfortable position. Yeah, and it's where they kind of almost have to like choose sides with the parents a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, I'll put this to you. Do you think your parents love you?
Yes.
Do you think your dad loves you? Do you think your mother loves you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you feel about that love that they have for you?
And I feel like it's pretty consistent, pretty yeah, pretty genuine.
Okay. Okay. So we're going somewhere. We're trying to work this out. Uh, this question out. Um, in a situation like that, if you have a comfort zone with your parents, parents need to also understand and respect the comfort zone that their child is in with the other parent. Zoe,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, marriage is not always easy.
Mm-hmm.
Parents go through hardships. Some parents go through the hardship to the point where they are no longer married. We've seen where parents decide to get a divorce, or there's some parents who are never even married. We've seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
But parents have to respect that child's relationship with the other parent. It is very important that the parent not sully the relationship or sully or deteriorate the vision that that parent that child has for the other parent. So sometimes I would say parents have to watch their tongue
Mm, yeah, interesting.
and practice self-control. And some things that you would like to confide or say or share with a another person who's closest to you should not be a human being. I would say you have to take it to God. Mm, yes. So what do you think about that?
I definitely agree. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Something people must understand.
Okay, that's a hard question.
Hmm.
That's a hard one, and I know that many times we as parents um, will say some things. No, maybe there's some things that a parent can share, but it has to be for the betterment of the family. If we have in mind, how can we become better as a family? How is this going to lead us to prayer? How is this going to lead us to a closer relationship with God? If we can think about it, how is that going to lead us to study? You know, okay, what can we pull from Adventist home and study um, as a family unit? It could that bring us closer to the throne of God than uh, it could have a positive outcome. But a lot of times we are not thinking that way, and it's unfortunate. Um, and also family companionship on page 190. Ellen White writes about, and she encourages families to come together and encourage, she encourages us to come together as confidants for each other. But it's a winning the affections of each other for a specific purpose. And I'll read. Young children love companionship and can seldom enjoy themselves alone. They yearn for sympathy and tenderness. That which they enjoy, they think will please mother also, and it is natural for them to go to her with their little joys and sorrows. The mother should not wound their sensitive hearts by treating with indifference matters that, though trifling to her, are of great importance to them. Her sympathy and approval are precious. An approving glance, a word of encouragement, or commendation will be like sunshine in their hearts, often making the whole day happy. So that lets us know that parents, and in this case, mothers, have a special responsibility in making sure we are a positive place for their children to land. We want uh, this should be fertile ground. Motherhood should be fertile ground for our kids. And it's a hard task. And many times I know I have not, uh, I haven't been successful in that. I haven't been successful, but I'm growing and I'm learning. And we all have to encourage each other in this walk. So Zoe, I even need encouragement from you, and you need encouragement from me in order to run this race. Yes. So with that, I think that we have had a pretty good conversation today. Did we cover all the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we had a wonderful talk, and I just want to thank you for having both of us here today. And we just hope that in the future we can come back and talk more about parenting so that we can have some peace, a piece of peace in our households. So thank you so much and have a wonderful and blessed day.
Yep. Bye.